Now, I got another story for you that we want to cover. And now let's say that now let's say you've made the money. Like you've gotten your resume together, you got the interviews, you landed it, you are you own the job now, you're doing your thing. Now let's say you're making the good money. All right. So now the article that I want to bring up is just because you're making the money now does not mean you know how to manage it.
Mm,
You see how I did that? You see how I did that?
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So, all right. Let's get into it. So most people know D Wade, NBA champion, Miami Heat, multiple championships. So Wade says it took years to learn how to manage his millions. I had never really handled more than $500 at a time. So it's definitely a thing. So we can address making more money, but if you don't know how to manage it, you're going to lose it.
Oh yeah.
So wanted to highlight, because a lot of times people think, oh, I make more money. You think that ultimately that immediately solves your issue. And it does from the standpoint of you get more luxuries, you get to do more nice things. But when that income stops and you hadn't put anything away, you're in the same boat. You check the check, you just got more nicer things, and you just have more expenses. But the end result is the same. So let's get into this article. With 3 NBA championships and close to 200 million in career earnings to his name, Dwyane Wade knows a thing or two about being successful as a pro athlete. But 13 All-Star, 13-time All-Star says it took him years to feel like he knew what he was doing when it came to his finances. Now he's doing post-retirement ventures, so sounds like he's still investing. He's basically calling out Caitlin Clark, earning millions because they had NIL deals and things like that when they were in college. And so essentially, basically saying that hopefully they start off better than he did. Um, but you know what I'm saying? You know how it's always in hindsight, something no different from what I, share with you. It's He was drafted to the Miami Heat at age 21. He said it took him more than a decade in the NBA to even start to understand how to manage his millions. For you, if it's not millions yet, 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 then maybe it might be hundreds of thousands. Maybe it might be, 5 figures, 6 figures, whatever that may be. We just making it practical. He came into the league, never really handled money more than $500 at a time, and suddenly started making money. So think in terms of you suddenly you start making money, and with a 6-figure job. Now all of a sudden you double, triple your income. Now you're making 6 figures. Do you know what to do with it? So it's the same thing. The zeros are maybe a little less, but it's all the same. It's not that
Right.
he he says it's that no one was making the level of money that he was making to be able to know what to do. So you have to be with people who are on that level that you're on. And I didn't do that.
Wow.
So he's basically saying that he didn't get help. Like he was just making that money, but not surrounding himself with other people that was making money like that knew what to do with the money. So the 42-year-old says he hopes that the latest crop of newly minted millionaire basketball players educate themselves from the start. You have to find someone that you trust and admire that does well with their money. He says you are capable because of your status and where you are, but be able to reach out to those individuals. Get a call with them, ask them how and what to do with your money and how to spend your money and how to think about the money that you have. Wade says one of the biggest mistakes he made early on in his career was being too proud to ask for help. And even when he did get financial advice, he was so unfamiliar with the financial basics that I don't know if I even understood how to listen. That's deep.
Mm,
He added
right.
that it can be difficult to ask for help and admit that you're uneducated about a certain topic. You don't want people to think less of you because you don't know something like how much money you have or what to do with your money. He says ultimately Wade hopes that the leagues employing the stars of tomorrow make a concerted effort to make sure the players are armed with the information necessary to make smart financial decisions for themselves. Well, well, we're talking about basketball players, but put yourself as a performer in your particular whatever skill set that you're in. Think of yourself as a that's your actual profession, and you making money. Now, what you gonna do with the money? Who do you need to reach
Mm.
out to get help? And get that support. So anyway, I'm gonna kick it over to you and get your thoughts on what you heard with the article.
I think it's cool that Dwayne Wade came out and shared that. And, we always hear about athletes talking about their money. It's funny. I just watched the interview with Shannon Sharp and Charles Barkley talking about that. Charles Barkley is very great, very good with his money. He talks about how kind of how Dwayne Wade was saying he didn't even have he wasn't even hanging around people that were, it's not that he did have bad people, he just didn't have people that had the knowledge. Charles talked about how I think Shannon asked him, like what was it like playing against Michael? Like the typical question, like, did you hate it? And the way Charles answered it was like, yeah, of course I didn't like losing, but what Mike did for the game, and not what only Mike did for the game, but what Mike did for our pockets. The way that he taught me to negotiate with the Nikes and the this and these companies. And so I think it was very interesting what Dwayne Wade said, that it's like a powerful example of, because he very easily could be one of the stories of Dwayne Wade. This decade he's on TV, he's lighting it up. The next decade he's one of them stories of, dang, that's sad to see.
Right.
But when you're able to remove your pride and remove that shame, because there's so much shame. That's really what it is. There's so much shame involved around money management, especially. And I think that probably increases tenfold the more money you're able to make. Because like, oh, look at this dude. He can make all that money but can't manage it. What a fool. That's probably what they're thinking in their head. And so I think it's just the same way of managing anything. Money is just like anything. You wouldn't shame somebody for not knowing how to manage a car if they've never had a car before. So it's the same way. They wouldn't know to check the oil a certain way or how often to check it. They wouldn't know what pitfalls to look out for. They wouldn't know to check the air, the tire pressure and all that. They wouldn't know to carry a spare. And so financially, what if you're not carrying a spare financially and you keep pop a flat with your money? We can visualize it when it comes to cars, but when it comes to money, it's easy to judge someone that is in a spot we've never been in, and it's easy to judge yourself too. So, like I say, when in doubt, try to remove the shame in the situation and go find help, good help.
Yeah. Someone that's doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's successfully doing it. And maybe they are a couple steps ahead of you. Well, then they can teach you something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's my biggest thing is the base, he talked about the basics and like not even really understanding the basics. So even if he was in the presence of someone, he didn't know if he would even be able to understand the language. And so the things that we like to talk about here is just some of the basics, like, and if you feel like you already know the basics, then that's cool. Well, this particular message isn't for you, but this message is for folks that may be still looking to find their way with the basics and moving back to your point, moving past that shame, guilt, pride, whatever that is. I've been there, and there's some areas where I'm still kind of in that beginner stage, but like when it comes to like some of this stuff, like I'm not a beginner in some of this. And so and that's our whole mission, man. We want to help people and meet people where they are, help them, help them with the real world experiences that I have, that you have in some regards as well. But then also, we may also just have resources and access to certain information that can help you, and it just might be we're bringing an expertise to you. So, and whatever that looks like, because we understand maybe some of the problems and challenges that you may be facing, and so that's
Right.
that's something that we doing. And so we do a lot of these reactions. We cover a lot of these articles. And then we tie it back to the practical aspects and making it related to the money, but then also like what is the practical takeaway? And so at the end of the day, the practical takeaways from these the three articles that we shared today was one, you got to prepare. You got to appropriately prepare. The impact statements will help you. The impact statements will help you with one, understanding the value that you're bringing and what you've done. And what it also allows you to do is be able to effectively, when you can get it down on paper and you can be concise, it can also help provide clarity when you actually talking to someone around the value and the impact that you've had at a company, that you've had with your business, with that you've had with your side hustle, is because now you're focusing on the impacts of those things versus a job description or activity. Then, now that you've landed the job, okay, welcome to the game. You get now you're making more money. You're making money. Now, what are you doing with that money? Are you investing in low cost index funds? Do you have your emergency fund set up? Do you understand the basics of finances to do that?
Mm.
Because then now you're into the money. Now we got to play the long game and allow compound interest to work for us. And that way, not end up and being more proactive about it as it relates to being a good manager of the money that you have as you're still in pursuit of making more money. And so you want to make sure you're not throwing bad money after, debt, because you just don't understand how to manage your money. So there's multiple components there. And so that those are some of the storylines and themes and practical things that we wanted to share, with this episode for episode 5. Any closing words that you want to share with the good people?
Man, just again, want to appreciate you guys for joining us. I think we share some good gems, and I really like especially the part about resume writing. It really resonates with me, especially because, like I said, I put a lot of time into college essay writing. So, big takeaway for me that I want you guys to take away is that it's not so important the what, the what, the plot of the story that you're writing and the plot of the job description of what you did. That's kind of what they mean when they say impact statement. It's not the what. The what isn't important. You got to figure out how to get to the how and the why. You got to make the reader care. And so when you're able to do that, that's when the magic happens.
All right. Well, hey, another successful episode in the books, episode 5. We love y'all. Check out more episodes. Check out more videos on our channel. Check out the small clips. Anything that resonates. Hey, drop some comments in the chat too. Like if there's anything that you want us to talk about, anything that you would like to see from us, we open to feedback. But we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Peace.